I fully agree with what Christopher was saying on the simple story. Keep it simple so that you actually attract attention. The other reason for keeping it simple, in particular if you're writing articles or things like that, is that in case somebody wants to translate it to their own language, the simpler the words you use, the better the translation or the adaptation will be. The other thing, so at UNESCO, I work in particular on issues of biodiversity, lifestyles, oceans. Uh, I'm in charge of the priority of young people and the priority of local level actions. So many of the entries we have seen this year and the other years have covered these areas. But just to reinforce the idea that you are you're writing or you're making a video or taking photos not just for yourself, you're doing it for other people. So one thing, this is not about writing your science report for your final exam. So um, make your writing a bit more exciting. The videos, I mean, you need to tell a story. It needs to be engaging. And in case you're preparing you're putting it under video campaign, it needs to be something that motivates people to do things. We personally, when I get the long selection and I have to kind of judge which ones I prefer, I go for things that are kind of out of the ordinary. I mean, some of the issues that so Christopher mentioned, the link with religion, the question, some of these other issues. These are things that catch my eye. If you're going to tell me or show me again something about, we need to plant more trees, well, sorry, unless your story or your photo is really good, it's not really going to catch my attention. The other thing is that we also want as these entries to be, in particular the ones that have to do with international collaborations, to be really team effort from the different collaborating groups, not just two people from each side writing the thing or shooting the thing. It needs to be really a group effort. So that's where you within your teams need to see, who's really good at taking photos or shooting films, who's really good at writing, who's really good at interviewing, and putting on these responsibilities and these roles. As I said, you're not writing for yourself. You're not shooting these photos for yourself or these videos for yourself. So you need to think that, am I putting forward an entry that could feature on, a, a press article or a news channel, or even if it just goes on YouTube, it would pick up enough interest. The other thing I would say is that sometimes you try to cover, even if you're just picking something simple, you try to cover too many things and you try to put it all in. We all know that's not possible. Everything is very complex. So again, stick to simple. And then I'll have a few remarks about some of the entries that I really like. So videos, yes, some remarks that Christopher made about photos would also apply to videos. It's become much easier to make videos these days. So when you're shooting your video, keep in mind some of the, where you should, are you kneeling? Are you standing? Is the light in the right way and all that? Keep that in mind. This particular one from New Zealand, I do a lot of work with citizen science. And for me, this one really explained or shows very simply what citizen science is about and can be used for encouraging groups to do that type of things. And in particular, it was really impressive for that age group to have done such really good quality video. So I definitely one that you should take a look at to get inspired for next year. So Belgium, this goes back to what I said earlier about if you're doing something linked to a campaign, it needs to be engaging, it needs to motivate people. This video clearly does that. Yes, there's music, there's well, dancing. There are lots of people. Definitely, the YRE group in that got many of their friends and others to take part in it. It's something that can um, get you thinking. Maybe we should do the same in our own group, in our own school. So for me, this was finally a video, a campaign video that was really about campaigning. There's too many that are labeled campaign videos, which are not. So this is a great, for me, this is of all the ones I've seen up to now, this was really the best. Yes. So, well, as marked there, it's yes, well shot. It's a good format, attention to details, but it's also about an issue that's um, bringing in more and more interest, because often when we talk about pollution and ocean, it's usually about plastics. And actually, there's more than just plastics. There's quite a bit of the pollution in the ocean, which basically comes from fishing gear. So the nets and other fishing elements, um, which are creating more and more problems. And this video shows some, let's say, some ways to try and deal with that. It was also interesting that there was I think it was an article, or was it the video from New Zealand on the same topic?
Article, yeah.
Article, because basically this issue of ghost nets, these fishing nets that are just drifting around the ocean. You can find them in any of the seas and oceans around the world. The other element of this, or the other, components of this video was there were some interviews. There was a mix. It wasn't just a reportage in that sense. So that was for me, was a good balance. So the international collaboration, as I mentioned also earlier, it really needs to be collaboration, not cut and paste, you write one part, we write one part, we put it together and the job is done. No, it needs to bring the two groups or together in developing. And here it was, of course, it's the issue of fires. We have had a lot. We're still having quite a few fires ongoing, but it was presented through basically people's reaction to these things. It wasn't about numbers and how much was destroyed and those kind. It was very much the human personal stories that were brought out. And this clearly is something that we, the jury, look for, whether it's in the articles or the videos or the international collaboration, that it's about you or people around you, so that you go away from, as I said, we don't want your science report. We need something that is engaging and brings out emotions. And clearly this one, I mean, we gave it first place. So it really brought a lot of that out. So take a look at that, especially if you're going to say, we want to do international collaboration. Look at it, see how it was done, and think about how can you put that in place when you're initiating a discussion with another YRE group to do international collaboration, whether it's on stories, videos, or photo reportage. So these are just a few things for you to think about. I think we've already given you a lot of tips and do's and don'ts, and but if you can just remember a couple of them, it will give you a better chance next year to maybe be within the first places or the honorable mentions.